Hi, everyone, and welcome to Sandra Cruz Unfiltered. My name is Sandra Cruz, and today I'm going to talk about why you should heal from trauma. I had so many people ask me, why should I heal from trauma? What's the point? Why can't I just suppress it and go on with my life? Well, that's all well and good, but what trauma survivors don't realize is that they create their life around their trauma. Now, even though you may suppress your trauma, lock it away, deal with it the best way you see fit, it is still in control of your life. And that's why it's so important to heal. Now, let me give you some examples. Everything that triggers you is what you avoid. So you may have a very good defense system in place, and you just don't go anywhere or do anything that you know will trigger a memory or an emotion you don't like. But the thing is, this may work for a while, and then something new triggers you. And then you add that to the list. And then another person triggers you, and then you stop seeing that person. So, and before you know it, your mobility, your ability to go places and do things becomes smaller and smaller and smaller. Simply because time after time, something is going to trigger you. Now, I don't call this life. I call this existing. And that's not how life should be. The thing with trauma is that a lot of people think to this day, even after they started moving from being a trauma victim to a trauma survivor, that it must have been their fault on one way or another. And that for some reason they're punished for something they have done somewhere in the past. But that's not true. The trauma that was done to you was a deliberate act by someone else. It's not yours to keep. It's not yours to hold on to. It's not yours to feel guilty or ashamed about. Trauma happens to so many different people. This is not to play down anyone's trauma at all, but the story may be different, but the healing process, moving through it in your mind, is always the same. Until you get to the point where you realize, no, it was never my fault. I don't have to feel guilty. I don't have to feel ashamed for what happened to me. I'm allowed to be angry. I'm allowed to move on and live my life. But there are many people who will never get to this point because they refuse to look at their trauma, and that is so sad. Because when you live with trauma, the glass is always half empty. If life gives you lemons, make lemon juice. No, that sounds yummy. Or you roll with the punches. You know, it's like there's always something. You could say it could be worse. It could always be worse. So always make an excuse for not getting better. But that's the trauma talking. That's the fear of letting it go. Because most people don't understand, or, well, not understand, but one of the greatest questions I always get from clients is who I am without my trauma. And that's the beauty. You won't know unless you try. What I can tell you from my own journey is that the more I healed, the more I changed into a person who is confident, who has courage to step out of her comfort zone and do the things she, is scared of, like being on video, for example. Not something I like too much, but I'm pushing through and I'm starting to enjoy it because I'm challenging myself. Now, as you heal, you'll notice how you become happier. Because the thing is, when you're happy, you can't just be happy and not feel the other emotions. You cannot suppress one part of yourself for the sake of another. That's not how this works. Just imagine there's one time where you feel so happy, you're laughing your heart out, and it's amazing. And before you know it, you're severely triggered because, sorry, because opening up to joy opens up to all the emotions you're suppressing. And then you got a problem. Because once the trauma is coming to the surface and you're being triggered left and right, it's extremely difficult to suppress it again. I call that a tower moment. That's the moment when a trauma comes rushing back to the surface. The floodgates open and you're basically feeling everything all at once. But the thing is, as you heal your trauma and you release those negative emotions, being happy becomes a natural state because there's nothing left you need to work on suppressing. And really, trying to suppress trauma is so much more work than releasing it, because once you release it, it's gone. There is no need to suppress anything. The triggers are just gone. They don't come back once they've been released. And that is so worth going through the healing. Thank you so much for watching. I do hope that my thoughts were of value to you. If you liked my video, please share, subscribe. And of course, always remember, trauma is not a life sentence. You have the power to heal. Bye.